How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
The Bride of Frankenstein.
She's alive! Alive!
A monster created from cadavers out of rifled graves. A tale that sent my blood into icy creeps.
Would you like to hear what happened after that?
Well, we've warned you.
Here we go.
You've been fucking warned.
Oh my God.
No, you've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Edgar G. Ulmer.
And I'm Bill Evenson. Did you see we got a comment on YouTube from one of our listeners asking what's with the names? Did you record yourself explaining why you do this?
Yeah, I think I did last week, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was giving you that opportunity is what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm Bill
I
Evenson.
promised to stop, but I'm Thom Lang.
Okay. Well, you don't have to be Thom Lang if you don't want. And we're going to talk about minute 44 of Universal's 1935 film Bride of Frankenstein, which of course is a much anticipated episode because I referred to it like 16 weeks ago.
Weeks ago.
Yeah, what is it now? Like November something? It's, oh my God, wait, did the election happen?
I haven't looked at the paper this morning.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's true. I'm just curious what's our first post-election episode because I'm kind of curious when such a thing will actually be determined.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could drag
I'm
on.
not gonna look it up now. Yeah, this is the moment you've been waiting for, but we're not there that moment yet.
No.
So what we have is the monster is seated
on a little stool.
On a little stool in front of the hermit while he plays a song on his
a jaunty tune on his fiddle.
And
do you know what the song is?
I asked my phone. I did this.
Oh, did you do that again?
What is this song? And it said that this song is called Friends (parentheses) from Bride of Frankenstein (parentheses) by Franz Waxman or Franz Waxman as most people pronounce it. Franz Waxman. And I don't disagree. This song should be called Friends.
It is actually children's theme.
Oh, is it really?
Franz Waxman.
Is it really?
From Bride of Frankenstein, yes.
Oh.
It'll appear again in the next minute in a different form.
It does?
This tune, yes.
Oh, well, I'll look forward to that.
You don't recognize it from the score? Oh, okay.
I guess not.
It'll pop up again.
Well, I can imagine what part it's
based on the name. Pretty evident. Yeah. What?
The monster is doing this. He's
like waving his hands.
He's really just behaving like someone.
He's jamming.
Yes, but he's also what's the phrase that's been way too repeated? Dance like nobody's watching. He's doing that.
Oh, right.
He looks like an idiot.
He doesn't care,
and he's just having a blast.
Yeah.
This is perfect. This is what he wants out of life.
Yep.
I got my cigar.
You can even hear him tapping his foot a few times. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Okay, clearly having a ball.
He's
In
got
the
a stogie
1936 novelization by Michael Ergman.
We're not going to hear from Carl Dreadstone anymore.
I don't know. I'm sure I got some Dreadstone stuff coming soon. I didn't. I think I meant. Oh, I read from Dreadstone a couple weeks ago.
You did.
But in this novelization, the monster hands the violin to the hermit, and the hermit says, "Sit down, my friend. Your body may be imperfect, but I can see that God hath given thee a soul." Again, sounds exactly right. It sounds like something he would say.
Yeah.
And not a bad reference, obviously, to him wanting some music. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing, but having a soul obviously indicates that you're, I don't know.
You're a complete person. Or,
someone who enjoys music would be someone who has some soul. Then goes on and on as the hermit keeps asking what fucking type of music the monster would like him to play. I mean, I could read this. It just goes on and on.
He says, acid jazz. You want some adult contemporary. You want ska.
He says, all right. He says a minuet, a pavane. I don't know what that even means. Light, gay.
Oh, well, see.
So the novel does go a little bit of a different direction. Or as the monster's organ swells, he says, light, gay, or something melancholy yet sweet. And you're like, okay, all right, I get it. Shut up. So then the monster can't say anything, of course, because what? He can't say these words. Then the guy says, but you haven't told me what to play. He just goes on and on about it. It's bizarre, the things that he gets hung up on. But then some might say it's bizarre what we get hung up
Well,
on.
that
so
is
I get
true.
it.
I think the monster in the Ramsey Campbell or the Carl
Ramsey
Dreadstone, he requests, "I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll." So.
I think there can be no doubt. It's time for a third novelization, Tom, and I think we're just the guys to do it. To anyone who's already weighing in on this topic, nope. Okay, so do the hunters stop by because they hear the music?
Well, they blunder in because they say they're lost.
Yep. So
but I think the music indicates, well, somebody's home, the door is open.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think they are lost, but they wouldn't have come in if they hadn't heard the music. That's the only reason I think this is significant. It's not even that significant. I mean, we're just talking about movies.
Yeah.
But is because then the monster inadvertently caused this to happen, which is,
I guess.
just
But
a
I
thing.
mean, smoke would be coming from the chimney because the fire's going.
Yeah, true.
The door is open. They're lost. Here's a hut. Let's go see if anybody's there.
That's probably
So,
true. So it's just
yes
a coincidence.
And no. Yes and no, I think,
Okay. I don't know if I did. I'm sure I have it in here. Yeah, I do. We'll talk more about the novelization.
Of course. Of course we will. There's also a slight wrinkle in the sky, again, in the wide shot as they come down the hill.
Okay.
Just a little bit. It's not as... Nothing is as obvious as in Frankenstein.
Yeah, where it's more wrinkled than sky.
Fold it up, and
you can see
it's like
the
an old
folds.
poster where you get the fold
There's
marks.
like a piece of tape that says number 3 on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so I don't know where you are in your notes, but I'm ready for the bonus video.
All right, we got a bonus video.
Let's see if you recognize this video. Unfortunately, it's edited rather tight, so just like when we watch these, the sound won't cut in right away, but I think you'll recognize it.
Nasty business, this.
It's a conjuring trick, that's what it is. I saw a fella make a peanut disappear once.
And then it cuts out too early. Yeah. What is that from?
Is that from the Invisible Man?
James Whale's The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
All right. So I got a lot on this. Are you ready for this? This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know what order you've got stuff to do.
I've got a lot of stuff to do.
Okay, but this is the only reason I want to talk about it is... it is my contention that the gentlemen in that scene are John Carradine and Frank Terry.
Yes.
In a scene in a film directed by James Whale in 1933.
You are correct.
Well, then we're off to a good start. Yes. I can see this is going to go well.
Right. Neither of them are Robert Adair or Jack Curtis either.
That's, I think, maybe the key here, because I have a bunch of notes of different. There's a character or a guy who goes by T-Bone Nader 64 on the classic horror film Born in October of 2016 insists that the gentleman that's with John Carradine, and I'm sorry I'm just rushing past his name because we haven't really given him a proper introduction.
No, go ahead. I'm just going to cut all this out anyway.
Oh no, I worked so hard. Is Frank Terry. He looks like Frank Terry, and Frank Terry's been in other stuff.
I've always felt it to be Frank Terry, yes.
Then a guy who goes by the name of Phantom XCI says, Robert Adair and Jack Curtis play the hunters who encounter and shoot the monster by the waterfall. John Carradine and Frank Terry play the hunters who wander into the hermit's hut. This is an in-joke by Whale. I don't know. People use the term in-joke differently than I do. As he had already cast Carradine and Terry as the villagers in The Invisible Man. Nasty business, this. As Carradine, and then Terry says, it's a conjuring trick. I saw a man make a peanut disappear once. So that's all I got to say, Scott McQueen. You pay attention. Because Scott McQueen, that son of a bitch, is finally getting his comeuppance.
That's right.
Today's the day.
Today's the day. Suck it.
Suck it, McQueen.
Carradine has another scene in The Invisible Man as well. He phones in a tip about, if you... spray painted or something. He's got, when people are, there's a montage of people.
That's a good idea. If he's invisible, you spray paint on him. That's clever.
Yeah.
So I think now I have screwed this up, and I don't know how much editing you want to do on this, but this should clearly come after us talking about these actors.
The tall, thin individual,
Dracula.
Count Dracula is.
Dracula in this scene is played by
Richard Reed Carradine, otherwise known as John Carradine.
His name's Richard?
Richard Reed Carradine.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Went by John, I think because of Barrymore. I think that's why he did that.
Okay.
Sort of an homage.
Just sounded...
Yeah. John Carradine, born February 5th, 1906 in New York City. Died November 27th, 1988 at the age of 82 in Milan, Italy.
That's the way to. That's
the way to do it.
That's where 82 in Milan.
Yeah, I got my plans. I got the flight all booked already. Yeah.
Yep.
In another 47 years, I'll be, or whatever.
Oh.
37. 27. I don't know. You're asking me to math on
I'm
the
not
fly.
asking you to math. I just can't tell if you're trying to pretend that you're a little bit younger than you are.
Yeah.
82. I'll be 82 in less than 60 years.
Yeah. Okay. 352 credits, which is quite a bit, from 1930 to 1995.
He was in The Invisible Man, I remember.
He was
that.
clearly in The Invisible Man. And Bride of Frankenstein, coincidentally.
Bride of Frankenstein, another one. Another good one.
Yeah. He's the paterfamilias of the Carradine acting dynasty.
Indeed.
With Chris, who I'm not familiar with, Chris Carradine, but apparently. David, of course. Know him?
Yeah,
No.
I've heard of him.
Keith Carradine, Robert Carradine.
What did Keith do again? Anything
Keith
I know?
Carradine, stuff.
Okay, acting.
Yeah,
He's an actor.
Acting.
And then the other guy you said, Robert? He's the nerds
guy. Which, and I honest to God, don't know if he's ever done anything beyond that. I'm sure he has, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
David, of course, Kung Fu and Kill Bill, among many other things.
Death Race 2000.
Yes, thank you.
You bury the lead there.
Yeah, no, you're right. The adoptive father of Bruce Carradine. I have no idea who that is either.
I think I've heard that word,
Bruce?
those two words put together.
Bruce
though,
Carradine?
So he must be in something.
Okay. He had 4 wives in his life. Are we ready for this? I have 5 cards of credits.
For Frank Terry?
No, yeah, for Frank Terry.
5 cards of credits for John Carradine?
John Carradine.
All right.
Sign of the Cross, which is early Cecil B. DeMille. It's the first time that I'm aware of that the Jekyll and Hyde transformation thing was used with the colored gels and filters.
Okay.
He's in the Black Cat.
Which one?
The Karloff Lugosi one. He's one of the devil worshippers in the Black Cat.
Oh,
You can see him if you know he's there, for sure.
Yeah, I'd forgotten. Yep.
Clive,
Well, I mean, it's that kind of role, though.
Yeah.
You can see him if you know he's there.
Right. I don't think he says anything.
I don't think so. I want to say, does he play the organ or something like that?
Yeah, maybe he's the organist. That's right. It's been a while. Cleopatra, not obviously the one from the 60s.
Not the Liz Taylor one?
No. Clive of India, which is only interesting because Clive of India was related to Colin Clive.
Yep, that's what I was going to say, actually.
Les Miserables.
Yep.
A lot of people were in that.
Apparently.
He's a popular guy, Les. Prisoner of Shark Island, which I think his first work with John Ford, who he worked with quite frequently.
Okay.
Captain's Courageous, Jesse James, Stagecoach. He's the shady preacher in Stagecoach.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a while.
Three Musketeers, Hound of the Baskervilles. He plays the Hound.
No, but the 39 Hound of the Baskervilles, he's got a fairly big role in that,
he's got a fairly
right?
decent role. He's like the guy.
Can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, well.
Drums Along the Mohawk, Grapes of Wrath, Return to Frank James, Whispering Ghosts, which is actually a fun little film with Milton Berle.
Okay.
On a haunted ship. It's pretty enjoyable. John and I got it. Just anything with ghosts in the title, we'll pick it up and watch it, and it was really fun. Captive Wild Woman.
Okay.
Which one of the Paula Dupree? Yeah.
Is that a Tom Weaver commentary or Greg
It is.
Bank?
It's Tom Weaver, I think, and it makes it watchable.
Good.
Either one makes it watchable. If it's Hitler's Mad Men, Revenge of the Zombies, Voodoo Man, Invisible Man's Revenge.
What year is Revenge of the Zombies?
Oh, it's 40-something. Mummy's Ghost, Return of the Ape Man.
Wait a minute, Mummy's Ghost?
Yeah, that's the second of the Chaney ones.
So, does he do anything important in that? Is he what?
Yeah, he's the priest guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Return of the Ape Man, Bluebeard, which is one of his best roles. House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula.
Yeah.
Face of Marble, Christmas Carol, a TV production where he played Ebenezer Scrooge. The Black Sleep, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I finally saw The Black Sleep.
And you made me order the fucking Blu-ray.
Did you?
Well, I looked it up and it's got a Tom Weaver commentary, so how could I not?
Let me tell you what I think. I haven't even listened to the commentary. Let me just say this about Black Sleep. I never watched it until
just
2 weeks ago or whatever, because everything I'd heard about it was it's
terrible.
got Bela Lugosi in it, and he didn't do anything. It's got Lon Chaney Jr. in it. He didn't do anything. He's got John Carradine in it, and he doesn't come in until there's 2 minutes left. So I was like, okay, it's on the list. I'll get to it maybe before I die. But then I can't remember what it was there was one reason I saw it mentioned in an article or something. But Oh, I heard about it on a podcast. Someone referred to it incorrectly, and I'm like, well, I should just finally watch this movie. I loved it. I love that movie more than anyone else in the world.
No, it's enjoyable.
Anything I read about it it's just terrible.
I wouldn't say I loved it, but I enjoy it. It's a good...
Rathbone is great.
Yeah, he's great.
Beginning to end.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay. Black Sleep. Good movie.
Black Sleep. 10 Commandments. Around the World in 80 Days.
What year are we at? So it's 50s. So the 10 Commandments. You mean that one I got up on the shelf with Charlton Heston.
Yeah. Around the World in 80 Days. The Unearthly. The Cosmic Man.
Mystery Science Theater did the Unearthly.
Yes, they did. Time for go to bed. Invisible Invaders. One of my particular favorites, Sex Kittens Go to College. Starring my friend Mamie Van Doren. So...
Your friend.
Yeah, I'm a friend of hers.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Mamie Van Doren?
Mamie Van Doren.
Is she still alive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone episode.
I feel like I saw a picture of her recently, and she's still...
She looks pretty good, yeah.
Looks pretty good. She's like 112.
Yeah, basically. Twilight Zone, episode of Thriller, hosted by Karloff. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, excellent Western.
God, you named so many movies I've seen, and I can't picture what John Carradine
does
in them. I guess because he's always just like...
He's just John Carradine.
Fifth down on the list.
The Patsy with Jerry Lewis. Alfred Hitchcock Hour. The Munsters. We played Herman's boss, Mr. Gateman, and I always pictured he was on like a dozen episodes. He was on 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The immortal Billy the Kid versus Dracula. William One-Shot Bodine's. He made that, and Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter at the same time. And it looks like it. Yeah, Chris and I did a double feature of that one night, and it was rough sledding.
And so... Is that the first time that anyone has made 2 feature films in one day?
Yeah, just about. Well,
on the same set.
Ed Wood tried, Roger Corman tried. None of them quite approached. Yep. Munster Go Home, where he plays a different part.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Hillbillies in a Haunted House, which has Rathbone. It's got Cheney in it, Carradine, and my favorite gorilla guy, George Barrows.
Wait a minute. It's got Rathbone, Crichton, Cheney?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Hillbillies in a Haunted House.
I've never heard of this in my life.
If you want to borrow it,
that's on the list.
If you want to borrow it,
I doubt it.
Probably have
sounds terrible.
2 or 3. It's, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's no Black Sleep.
No. Blood of Ghastly Horror, which I really don't know anything about, but it's got a great title.
It does.
The Astro Zombies, one of Ted V. Michaels' piles of crap.
Yeah.
Blood of Dracula's Castle.
Right.
The Vampire, where he plays the hoary old...
Does he play Dracula in any...
No.
Okay. Well, because he was
I know. He doesn't. The Vampire, where he goes by the name of Alucard, so they're still using that stupid old hoary bit. 5 Bloody Graves. The Mummy and the Curse of the Jackals. Never seen that one either.
God.
Horror of the Blood Monsters.
What year are we at now?
We're in the early 70s now.
Did you get Night Train to Mundo Fine?
Oh, that's it. I forgot to. I didn't write it down.
Because that's a favorite of mine.
Is it?
He does the theme song.
He does. That's right.
It's one of my favorite Mystery Science Theaters. It was released under the name Red Zone Cuba.
Yeah. Horror of the Blood Monsters. Myra Breckenridge, the infamous Mae West.
Wow.
It's
he really
he got all over the place.
Got all over the place.
Bigfoot, which looks like it was filmed on sets left over from I Love Lucy. Or the Lucy Show.
Perfect.
Night Gallery.
Okay.
Honey Britches. Yes, you heard me. Honey Britches. Plays the Judge of Hell in that. Never seen it.
Nope.
Don't really know that I need to.
I could see him pulling off Judge of Hell, though.
Oh, sure.
He's got the voice for it.
Yeah. Boxcar Bertha. Oh. You know that. Yeah.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Martin Scorsese. Everything You Want to Know About Sex But We're Afraid to Ask. Plays a mad scientist.
Really?
Yep. Silent Night.
So I have seen... Hold on a second. I have seen 50 of this guy's movies?
At least.
I guess every time he comes on screen, I must just go, oh, look at that. It's John Carradine. And then I forget about it. Like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, I must have seen that 2 months ago.
Yeah. Silent Night, Bloody Night. Night Strangler. Terror in the Wax Museum. No relation to Mystery in the Wax Museum.
Close, though.
Close enough. Super Chick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. House of Seven Corpses.
Does he play the super chick in that?
Yeah, I think he does.
Mm-hmm. Did you say House of Seven Corpses?
7 corpses.
So not
5, not 6.
Well, also not the Rob Zombie movie, isn't he? Have a movie?
1,000 corpses. Yeah, they've inflation.
Yeah, well, okay, it could be inflation. I was just going to say, he's got to top the other film.
Yeah. Why go 8 when you can go 1,000?
Yep.
A few episodes of Kung Fu.
Remember that movie that had a bigger Death Star? than the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
Kung Fu, a couple episodes with his son David.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen those? You think?
Yeah.
Can you tell they're
related?
Like each other? I guess they must.
Well, they hated each other.
Well, you can imagine they did. They could.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate their kids.
A couple immortal titles here: the Far Out Space Nuts, starring Bob Denver and Chuck McCann from the minds of Sid and Marty Krofft.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I was not a Sid and Marty Krofft fan. I didn't like anything they did.
Didn't until later on when
I could appreciate
caught all the drug references and HR Puffin stuff.
Did you see? You remember Mr. Show?
Drugachusetts or whatever. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that captures it for me.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Wonton Ton, the dog that saved Hollywood.
So not.
I remember seeing commercials for it on TV, but that was the last I ever heard of it. It sort of just disappeared into thin air. The Shootist, John Wayne's final film. The Sentinel, which is a really wacky horror film from the 70s.
Okay. Satan's
Cheerleader. I don't know if he plays the cheerleader or not.
Or Satan.
Or Satan, maybe. Shockwaves, which is with Peter Cushing. Dr. Dracula by our friend Al Adamson. I'm sure it's in that $3,000 Blu-ray set of...
Right. Boy, he worked with all the big names.
He got around, man. He did
Coleman Francis. He did Night Train to Mundo Fine.
He never worked with Ed Wood, unfortunately.
It is kind of unfortunate.
Film we showed as part of our live Atomic Midnight shows, Vampire Hookers. The character's name was Richmond Reed.
Okay.
And they let him do Shakespeare. The scariest thing about that movie, I think, was his arthritic hands.
So hold on a second. His name was Richmond Reed?
The character's name.
And what was his real name? Richard Reed? Okay,
yeah.
Richard Reed Carradine.
Yeah.
Okay. Takes me a while. You got to repeat it.
Yeah, no, I get it. The Bees. Which I'm assuming was part of that 70s wave of killer animals.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. An episode of two of Wonder Woman.
Oh.
Nocturna, where he plays Count Dracula.
Oh.
BJ and the Bear.
Where he plays Count Dracula.
Monstroid.
BJ and the Bear. Boy, you've really taken me through this has become a summary of the 20th century TV and movies.
It's the history of the talkies, basically.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Monstroid.
Yeah.
Which is, no relation to hemorrhoid. The Boogeyman.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course, why not? It took until the 70s for there to be a film called
The Boogeyman.
A film I happen to love, The Howling. He's in that.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
The Monster Club, which I think Vincent Price or Cushing or somebody else is in that as well. Not very good. Frankenstein Island, which is deplorable, just awful. Now again,
I keep going Mystery Science Theater, but I think the Cinematic Titanic
They did Frankenstein Island, yeah. The only way to watch it, because otherwise it's just appalling. Satan's Mistress. He played the title character.
He was Satan's cheerleader, and they brought him back.
They brought him back for the sequel.
Well, because he was Satan's cheerleader, but they didn't really start dating.
They didn't start seeing each other until after, yeah.
Because Satan was married. That's why he's a mistress.
Yeah. Oh dear God. House of the Long Shadows, which also has Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and Vincent Price.
That's that one. Okay.
Yeah, and
there's another one, right? I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up with a different one. Never mind.
Okay.
There's another one with those three and Laurie, I'm thinking of Vincent Price.
No, there's Scream and Scream Again has.
What's the one that has Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Cushing, and Lee? Is that a movie, or did I make that up?
I don't think they did.
Okay, never mind. I get them all mixed up.
Ice Pirates. I don't know. And
I think that they do that at the winter festival or whatever.
Yeah, they do. They reenact Ice Pirates.
Yeah, Carradine doesn't come anymore.
St. Paul Winter Carnival.
St. Paul Winter Carnival.
Peggy Sue Got Married for Francis Ford Coppola.
Gosh, he worked with Scorsese, Coppola.
Yeah. Coleman Francis.
And
Al Adamson.
And Al Adamson, of course. James Whale, repeatedly.
Right. Evil Spawn.
He's got to be the only guy that worked with Coppola, Scorsese, James Whale, and Coleman Francis.
Yeah. Evil Spawn, Buried Alive, and his last film, Jacko. No idea. I didn't bother to look any of these up because I just don't need to know.
I think that was Spielberg, Jacko.
Jacko, yeah. It's just before Sugarland
I might be
Express.
thinking of Jack, starring Robin Williams. Jacko. Was it about Michael Jackson? 'Cause that's what they called him.
You know, I don't know.
Could be.
The other fellow at the door is indeed Frank Terry.
We're establishing this.
Oh, it
Mr.
is.
McQueen.
There's no question. It's Frank Terry.
Mm-hmm.
It's also Frank Terry and the Invisible Man. So there. Born May 3rd, 1870.
When did the Civil War end?
Just about when Frank Terry was born. He was the result of the
celebrations?
Celebrations, yeah. Late.
Was he born in the North or the South?
I don't know. I think he was born in New York City or something like that.
Okay.
Died October 26th, 1948, at the ripe old age of 78. Only has 23 credits as an actor.
Boy, he's kind of older here than I would have thought then.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. 1870 to 1935. So he's... No. Really?
Yeah.
Am I doing the math right? Is he 65?
Pushing 60, yeah.
Wow.
65. Yeah.
Looking good.
Yep. He's in a number of Laurel and Hardy films here. Any Old Port, Me and My Pal, The Devil's Brother, and Midnight Patrol. He was in Remember Last Night and The Great Impersonation for Mr. Whale.
Mm.
And the immortal Old Mother Riley in Paris.
It's not the Mother Riley that...
It's the same Mother Riley, it's just
it?
not the same film with Lugosi.
Right.
Yeah. I actually have the complete Old Mother Riley collection.
Okay, so how many are there?
Oh,
Is it a two
disc set? Yeah, it is actually. I believe. Yeah, there's
so there's probably 12 of them.
There's a number of them. Yeah.
Okay.
I've only watched one.
I honestly, off the top of my head, couldn't tell you for sure, but I think the Lugosi one's called Mother Riley Meets the Vampire.
Yeah.
Who meets the Brooklyn Gorilla?
Bela Lugosi.
That's just what it's called?
Bela Lugosi meets the Brooklyn Gorilla.
Okay, that's what I'm getting confused. That's the title of it?
That's the title of the film.
Good God.
It's as good as you can imagine, with a guy impersonating Jerry Lewis.
Oh, one of those. Well, there's a fair number of those.
Yes, Sammy Petrillo.
Oh, that is the one I'm thinking of. Okay, that's the one. There's not a Martin and Lewis.
No.
I'm thinking of someone.
That's what these guys are mimicking.
Oh, that's what I mean then.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was sued by Jerry Lewis and couldn't figure out why. So there you go. There's actually a Facebook page dedicated to him that I am a member of.
Well, you know, honestly, what year is that? 30-something?
Bela Lugosi meets the Brooklyn Gorilla?
Yeah, is that 50?
No, it's 50s.
Okay, then he's got no excuse. But like, there was a point, I think, in vaudeville days when vaudeville came into the movies, where you could plausibly be a bit confused by that and say, well, I saw you do it in Atlanta, and I'm doing it in whatever. I'm doing your part somewhere else, and it's not a thing. And then you filmed it. What does that have to do with anything? Yeah. Yeah. But nowadays, it's, by the 50s, no excuse.
You knew better.
Yeah, you should have known better.
So there we go.
Should have better known better.
Yes. They blunder into the hut, ask for help. Opie cordially invites them in, but the monster, he's a little wary right away.
Okay, so I think it's great because...
unless you have something more on...
No, well, it's this sentence on Frank Terry. No, I got it. Except that I implore you to take my stuff from before and put it after, or leave all of this in, where you can just see that I'm imploring you and you don't listen. All right. The Hermit's reaction to me is funny. You just said it. He claimed in minute 40 that it's been a long time since any human being came into this hut. And it just seems like he hasn't seen anybody anywhere. And then he gets visitors here, and he just casually invites them in like it's an everyday occurrence. Yeah. And let me see if I gotta get the line right.
You are welcome, friends.
Come in, friends, and rest a while. And then he goes back to his music.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep playing. He's got his cigar and his music and his wine and his friend, and he's like, "Come in, rest a while."
Life is good.
Yeah. So that's bizarre, and it always struck me that way. It seems odd that more people come and the hermit is completely
just blasé about it.
Okay, so then
but
I also
Karloff juts his jaw out.
Yeah,
he's just not.
Yeah, Karloff is
he's not having it.
Well, the monster is immediately wary.
Defensive.
It's over. Everything we've been talking about for weeks now. Yeah, it's over. It's over now.
At this moment. Yep.
It's all over.
He knows
immediately, and he's right.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's it. He will have friends, even in this movie.
Yeah.
But never. This is it.
This is
it
over. For in terms of true friendship. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has friends, but they're using him for their own.
They don't want to, play the violin.
They don't want to sit and play the violin and have a cigar with him. No.
Yeah, and talk about fire.
No, they do not.
There will, as I said before, be fire.
There will be.
But yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Kind of sad to think about, but it's nice that he got to have that.
You know,
and we have now reached the point where we're going to see we're going to see how it turns out. I guess how it's almost nihilistic, really, that he can't know peace. He was naive to think that he could be happy.
Could ever be, yeah.
All right.
Well,
what a downer.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. I've got a bunch of notes here, and so the way it goes down, I don't remember exactly, but the monster growls. Frank Terry starts to load his gun.
Well, Carradine first says, "Look," sort of.
It's the monster
on the sly, and then Frank Terry just shouts at the top of his lungs, "It's the monster!" and starts loading his gun.
Yes,
and that's the beginning of the end right there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, all hell breaks loose at that point.
Yes, hell breaks loose, and the table gets flipped.
Yeah. Well, first, the note I had is that the monster doesn't take kindly to be called a monster, and he growls. Then Terry cocks his gun. So
that's already interesting to me. I've never taken it that way. That he doesn't take kindly to being called the monster. Just he doesn't like them at all. He knows their trouble. Yeah. Oh, I guess that's why though.
Yeah.
I think the fact that I always take it as he's been recognized because he is the monster.
He is. Yeah.
I'm assuming.
But I don't think
that's not fair. No one should be the monster.
Has anyone called him that to his face prior to this? I don't recall.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's why I always took it as.
I wouldn't have thought so.
I always took it as he was a little put out by that, and
maybe somebody in the village, maybe monster indeed. He's clearly been exposed to the word, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to fire his gun. The monster clouts him on the head and sends him crashing into the table, which flips over. It's just madness.
But it's perfect because it's part of that idyllic setting. They moved from the table. They went over there. They went over there and sat at the stool, and then it's already flipping over. It's seconds later. It's all going to fall apart.
The meal they were having so nicely earlier
goes flying
all over the floor.
Yep.
What are you doing? This is my friend.
Okay, so I like this. He says, "Yeah, this is my friend," and he jumps up in between them.
Yeah, he puts his arm
as a blind
out.
Guy, he can figure out the spatial. He has the spatial awareness to get in front of him.
He puts his arm out in front of the monster,
which is
not
great.
Not holding him back, but protecting him,
or maybe holding him back. Either way, getting in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I like that he says, "This is my friend." And then Carradine responds,
"Friend,
this is the fiend." I love that, friend to fiend.
Yeah.
I don't know why that. I like
because they're spelled similarly. They have a similar sound.
Yeah,
so
similar.
Yeah,
they got all the same letters.
Yeah,
but one. So this is the fiend that's been murdering half the countryside. What do you got, Thom?
Goldstadt must be really sparsely populated if he's murdered half the countryside. It's only been 2 or 3 people.
Well, in this version, that's all we know.
Yeah.
But we don't have, we can't say he hasn't. Like we talked about it weeks ago. That there are some scenes that we have to kind of assume. Yeah. We don't know how much time has gone by.
Yeah.
There are good reasons to think months have gone by since this movie started, and there are good reasons to think
it's
days.
The next day.
Like you talk about his hair. Have you ever? I did this recently. I started the grill. And I lit the grill, and I was too close to the grill, and I burned some of my hair. And it takes way longer than I wanted it to grow back. But it doesn't take years or anything.
No, I mean this I shaved down in May.
Okay.
I figure I'm gonna cut my hair once a year.
Okay, that seems like a perfectly respectable thing to do.
Well, because I had to do it myself because you couldn't go get it done.
I hear you.
And I just wanted a little trim because it was getting kind, on my shoulders, and. Like Don didn't feel comfortable doing it, so I shaved it off.
So it doesn't take that long. So
this is 3 months here, and it's what 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this movie can't be 6 months long.
No.
All right. Why were we?
So why did you?
Oh, because
you asked me
murdering half the countryside. There are murders that could take place off screen. We've talked about some of the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
But even some of that is. Even Newman was self-defense in some version of the story. I think it was in the novelization. And some of it's Carl.
Yeah.
But there have been murders. And
it's one of those things where the story spreads and gets exaggerated. What's that game when you were kids? Someone would start with a sentence and you'd whisper it to the next person. By the time it got to the end, it's completely different.
I've heard it called two things. One is not racist. It is called telephone.
Okay.
The other version ends in whispers. Is it just called Chinese whispers?
I've never heard that one, but okay.
I'll just
I've heard
come up with all
telephone.
kind of racist shit if you want.
Sure.
I've heard it called. I've heard it called the.
No, don't even.
Kike talk. You ever heard it called that?
No. I've got a name for the episode now.
Guinea talk. Can you change it to Guinea?
Guinea.
That's less offensive. Polak. I'm Polish. I should have gone
there you
Polak
go.
talk, and it kind of rhymes.
It does.
I've heard it called Polak talk. There, you can use that. Shit.
Says Bill.
Big trouble now. Okay, so this is the fiend that's been murdering half. So I always think there's two things there's so much to just sort of everything is iconic to me in this scene for some reason. Maybe
Well, it's a pivotal moment.
Maybe it's just got my attention because I've been falling asleep before this. No,
it's a very pivotal moment
he says,
in the film.
He's blind, which I like. He's great.
Good heavens, man! Can't you see?
Yeah.
Oh, he's blind.
He's blind.
And I've noticed that every time I've seen it with an audience, that gets a laugh.
I can see that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Be stupid.
Yeah.
Be a prole. What's the word I'm looking for?
It gets a laugh. He does the take where you go.
Yeah.
That gets a laugh, and I don't know.
This is kind of early Carradine.
I don't think it's particularly.
He's not playing Count Dracula here.
No, I don't think it's particularly funny, but it gets a laugh.
No, it's not meant to be funny.
No,
but it's something. Yeah, it's the delivery. But I like it. I like when he says he's blind, and I also like that. Then Terry says he isn't human, which is weird because it comes right after him saying he's blind. So I always just have this sort of disconnect that he's talking about the hermit.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. It's just I've always thought that this podcast
line,
is about me having a bunch of stupid thoughts.
Terry's line is directed at the hermit.
Yeah,
to the hermit.
So, apparently, yeah.
Warning him, hey, he isn't human. Frankenstein made him out of dead bodies. He's got this Cockney accent. And he's not from England. I thought he was, but he's not.
He's born in New York.
Yeah.
But in 1870. So maybe they talked like that back then.
Well, he did do some work in London for a while. So
have you heard the theory that our accent, the American accent, is closer to the original English, and that it was the British that started talking all funny?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. I don't know. I don't know how you prove such a thing.
Yeah.
But if you're born in the Midwest, and we were.
Yes. Yes, we were.
And we talk right, because we talk like people should talk. It's right. I'm pronouncing these words and letters the way they are pronounced. If you go to England and you say, I want a glass of water, you say that because that's how that word is pronounced. Yeah. But if you ask for a glass of water, you're a pompous prick.
Yeah.
No. I mean, obviously we got a lot of listeners in England, no. But there's a notion that says that's a sort of
it's backwards.
Not that it's backwards, but that it became flowery. It became under that time period, the British started to sort of talk in a more
like
exaggerated
Victorian
way.
Or Edwardian, or
I don't know what time. I'm not
a historian.
A historian. I'm an amateur historian.
Okay.
Anyways, he's in the script. He doesn't say he isn't human.
No.
Frankenstein made him out of dead bodies. He says he isn't human. Haven't you heard of it? Frankenstein made him out of dead bodies. I like the haven't you heard of it? Because it's obvious the writer is putting that in there because it's dumb. That this guy, this guy's not on the pulse of.
Yeah, he doesn't have his finger on the pulse of.
Yeah,
he doesn't subscribe to the Goldstadt.
He's not
Gazette.
on Twitter every 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I like the reaction from Karloff because this is the first time he knows where he's from and why he's different.
I never took it that way until doing this podcast.
Okay.
And I do take it that way. And it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I think that reaction is very specific.
He almost does a little double take, like, what?
Yeah.
And you could just see the wheels turning.
Well, and in the script it says, at the above words from the hunter, the monster has become tensely still. He takes this in. This is the most important thing he has ever heard and the explanation of his quandaries and wondering about himself.
Yeah.
There's no
question.
No getting around it. That's what's happened here, and I missed it every time I watched it until now.
What does Egremont say about it?
He probably skipped
or
it.
Dreadstone, or
no. I only have one thing about the novelization, which I think is funny. The novelization says the hunters Heinrich and August knocked at the door. Then it goes on for several pages about Heinrich and August.
Yeah.
because they're in the book. They're the same hunters from before.
Okay.
So I was trying to. I didn't read it all. I just was trying to capture what we're going to talk about today.
Right.
But it looks to me like that he really feels the need to explain why these are the same hunters, because it doesn't make any sense that it would be, unless one hunter left the other hunter there, which does happen in the movie, but you don't care.
Yeah.
And then that guy became injured, I think, by the monster. So then Heinrich like finds August. There's all this, you know.
Again, he's far more interested in his own stuff than what's in the film.
It's like a sequel. Have ever been a sequel where the events take place at the same time as the original? I guess Back to the Future too.
Back to the Future. I don't know.
There's got to be, right? Somebody should do that.
A sequel it's just from an alternate point of view, or it's just this is happening at the same time over here while the other story was over.
Actually, there's a really obvious one. It's called You Know It. It takes place at the same time as Hamlet.
Oh, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
That's Hamlet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That one takes place at the same time. And I would call that a sequel.
Yeah.
But that's what this is. This is
Rosencrantz
and Guildenstern are dead.
Is Hans and August, or what were their names?
Heinrich
and August are dead.
Are alive.
Yeah.
Because maybe they die in this. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Because this at the
minute
end of this
ends,
minute,
yeah, with
everybody's.
Karloff.
How does it end exactly?
It's the shot of the monster where he's pondering.
Yes, that's right.
His origin.
Yeah, and that's I'm ashamed that I never noticed that before, because the topic comes up later, and it's clear the monster does know who he is.
Yeah.
He knows who he is and where he is. That where you come from?
Yeah,
or something like that. Anyway, that's obvious later.
Yes, and in the novel, he knows this because he finds
the novel being the Shelley
novel, not the now canonical Carl Dreadstone or Michael Edgermont. No, the Mary Shelley, the creature finds Victor's journal in the cloak that he takes when he flees the apartment at the beginning.
Okay, and he learns
to read, and then he reads through. He's like, what the fuck is this?
That's the thing I didn't mention during this. Now it's over, basically, this scene of idyllic language lessons.
Yeah.
But again, I did talk about it, say 4 weeks ago or something like that, that they do go into great detail about how the monster learns how to speak and how to read.
And do quantum physics. I don't think that comes up near enough.
And it's not uninteresting. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just odd to me that
it spends that much time.
It spends that much time on of that story doing that. But then that's what stories do. That's what makes stories good.
Yeah.
If they're just tightly focused on one thing, that's not actually a good story.
Or
it's a short story.
That's what makes it a novel. Yeah.
There you go.
It has all this background information that, a short story you would skim over.
That's right.
Or a film you would.
A short film?
Yeah. I don't remember. It's been a few years since I watched it, but in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the film, I think it's the same thing. He learns to talk that same way. And
okay.
I'm not a big fan of it, so I don't recall.
I don't remember either. De Niro's in that, talking about how he learned how to talk and all that.
De Niro's so-so.
Yeah.
I think he's miscast. I don't think he was the right guy to play that.
I think that's a pretty common refrain.
Yeah. Nor was Kenneth Branagh the right guy to direct it. Coppola has said he regrets not doing it himself.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was that. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense, though. Yeah. That's why they're always in the same box set.
Yeah, because he produced it. He was going to direct it, and then I don't know what happened, but...
I like that. I like his Bram Stoker's
Dracula.
Bram
Stoker's Dracula is great. It's one of the 2, 3 maybe best Draculas.
You sound like you're responding to Rick now.
I kind of...
Because he didn't even mention that one.
I still think Horror of Dracula or Dracula of 1958 is my particular favorite. Nosferatu is outstanding. Actually, both Nosferatus, the Herzog and the Murnau.
Yeah.
And then Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Right.
Those are the 3 that if I were going to watch, I would watch one of those.
I like the way you put that, if I'm going to watch. Because it really, there's, is it faithful to, does it capture the spirit of...
I don't give a shit.
I might give a shit depending, but in the case of the Hammer or Dracula, that's not really the point.
No.
I guess. At least I would definitely say that about the Frankenstein.
Yeah.
We should talk about that one someday.
We should.
Well, we're still on Instagram.
Still, they haven't kicked us off.
No. No.
Try.
Well, they try to crack down on the porn, so we frequently get flagged.
The Frankenporn, yeah.
Actually, we have been flagged for that. I think.
Wasn't
right?
it?
Didn't
It
we
was a
decide
picture
the
of
characters looked like they were bending over.
It was
or
a
something?
picture of Henry approaching the monster, but he's like, sit down, and it flagged it as.
And the perverts over at Instagram said, "Take it somewhere else, pal."
Yeah, it's when he's telling him, sit down just before he opens the light up in the ceiling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, because
everybody knows
that's
what you're talking about, buddy.
That passed the
Was that when the organ swelled, or am I thinking of a
no,
different
that's
one?
a whole different.
Good night, folks. I gotta go turn that thing off. You know what that is?
What is that?
We're
still going. So
robot. Okay, so we got a. It's not a Roomba, but it's the other one.
Yeah.
And it starts running at this time every day.
Okay.
And I gotta turn it off because there are certain rooms we don't want him to go into. He gets stuck.
Odds are it won't pick up on the mics, but
it was annoying the shit out of me.